All right, so I'm Professor Jeff Thompson. Worked here, I've taught here since about 2008. Have an office downstairs, office hours. The posting of it got deleted from D2L. I'll upload it, by tomorrow. I have a good phone number here. What I strongly encourage you to do is to go ahead and send me a text right off the bat. The reason I do that is that if you have my phone number there, if you get stuck on a programming problem, you can just take a picture of your screen. Show me the code, text it to me. I stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning every night anyways, so I'll be glad to help you. As long as I'm not driving or teaching another class, I'll hop right on your text and I'll help you out. I could type in some code myself and send you a picture back, or I could say, well, check line 18, there's a problem, that kind of thing. So some students take a lot of advantage of that, and then y'all become my teacher's pet. I become really, real used to communicating with y'all online. Other people are shy and they don't send it. Please don't be shy. You're not going to wake me up. I know how to mute my phone. If you ever get stuck on a programming problem or need to ask a question, go ahead and text. Phone calls are great too, but programming questions, it's nice to have something to see. That is opposed to emailing me something, which is great, sure, but it takes me longer to respond to an email than it does to a text. So if you would, since I conveniently covered up my phone number, you can't text me yet, send me a text. I'll boost the size of Notepad. Please include that this is 1203 and put your name. I'll add you to, my contacts, and then at the end of the semester I'll delete you from my contacts. The only thing I'll ever talk to you about is school stuff. Mostly I'll wait until you contact me. The only time I would ever contact you is if I know class is going to be canceled or something weird like that. All right, so if you do that, go ahead and blow up my phone. All right, I see some messages coming here. Good deal. So course title, you know the course title or else you wouldn't be here. Delivery method, or as this says, a deliver method. Cute typo. Why don't we fix that? Hybrid, lecturing online. With every class on campus is now pretty a hybrid, lecturing online, right? You come in, you can take a lecture, and then there's material posted online. So they all get called that. Our videos that we take are all posted. I will upload them to YouTube and then post links to them in D2L. So if you ever need to rewatch something, or you missed a day, you can always catch up on it. You just have to check D2L. Oh, this is just rife with typos, isn't it? When we meet, we may change the room. That's the Mac room. I'd like to meet there actually. So what kind of computer are you going to need to do this kind of stuff? Well, if you've already taken 1113, you probably already have Python installed on your machine at home. My one warning is that you really do need a full computer. And what I mean by that is not an iPad, not a Chromebook. Yeah, you can go to websites and try to write Python software. You can download an app, but really you need that kind of stuff. You need pretty much. If you have a laptop, it's totally awesome to bring your own laptop. Absolutely cool. A lot of people do that. If you have a Mac, that's cool. I use Macs. If you have a PC, that's cool. I use PCs. If you use Linux, well, you're a god and you can teach me about it. So, textbook supplies. We need that book. That's a physical textbook. On the other hand, you can also get it as an ebook, which is how I like it. The only problem with getting the ebook is that you wouldn't be able to use it at the testing center. And our exams are going to be at the testing center. So just keep that in mind. You might want to pay the extra bucks to get the inconvenience of getting the physical textbook. We'll talk more about my exams later, but they are open book, they're open notes, they're open PowerPoints. So, it's nice to have your book with you. And I wish they would let you use, Kindles or whatever, but I guess it's hard for them to monitor iPad usage and make sure that you're not chatting,
You could
with your kid.
with the digital copy, you could download it as a PDF probably and put it on a flash drive.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if I could put a digital copy of it up. That's probably a copyright violation. I'll look.
I mean, if you buy your own digital.
Yeah, you could put it in the Dropbox as well. There's not the Dropbox, but we'll worry about that as we go along. But that's a good idea. If you can find, if you can convert it to a digital copy, there is something called the locker inside of Dropbox. Inside of D2L. You go to Tools, There's Locker. You can upload files there. I don't know if there's a file limit. Otherwise you could upload it, and we'll make a folder so that you can upload anything that you want to in order to access it during an exam. Because I tell them, yeah, they can access anything that they've uploaded into D2L. Good idea. Okay, so also we're going to be making a lot of use of a website called Python for Everyone. Different authors, slightly different order of things. I like this one because we don't have PowerPoints for this textbook. And it comes with, well, why don't we just go and take a look at it? And Denise, I'm going to send you to a tutorial website that I want you to do.
Okay.
I can just control click on it. I'm distracting myself. All right. So the online textbook, has these cute little windows where you can type in code. So that's cool. Okay, this one's not showing a lot of cute little windows, is it? Really? Should be there. If not, we'll work through it anyways. The editor that I use up here and that you may wind up using is the idle editor. If you like PyCharm or something else because you learned it, that's totally cool as well. PyCharm's a better editor than idle. It's just that idle comes by default on every machine, so I don't make students install something separate. Where did our cute little preview windows go? It had places where you could type in code, click run, and well, I guess I'll work on that in another point. What are we going to do? Learn scripting with the Python language? Not the only thing we're going to do. You're already pretty good at Python, hopefully. So we're going to use JavaScript to create dynamic web pages, which will involve needing to know some HTML as well. And while we're there, since we're talking about HTML, we should talk about cascading style sheets. So there should be some new stuff. We want to understand things like arrays, lists, dictionaries, parameter passing. I didn't mention it, but objects. Yeah, well, class creation. Learn to use file functions for input and output. Create web pages with Python, which you can do. Create graphical user interface programs with Python, which you may or may not have done in your other class. So class computer usage, of course, does require access to a computer. You have to be able to hit the website. You need the development software on it pretty much. Like I said, there are websites where you can go online, and if you don't have Python, you can type Python code in, but they don't do everything. They don't let you write graphical user interfaces and stuff like that. It's highly advantageous for you to have your own computer, but if you don't, you can go down to the business lab,
Linus
206. Pardon me?
Linus computer.
Oh, we got Linus's computer. Yeah, well, nice of him to come here and let us have it. Alrighty. You can bring your laptop to class, which I strongly encourage. If you're not going to bring a laptop to class, at least you better bring a flash drive and back up your files. Everything you upload into D2L will always be there. But if you don't upload it into D2L and then when a machine croaks, they're going to replace a hard drive or swap out another computer and you're going to lose everything that you'd saved to it. So flash drives are good. Only drawback is then you lose them, kind of a drag. Course tools. I will want you to install Python 3.7. If you're using Python 2, please go ahead and you switch to 3. Not 3.7, I think it's, anyways, 3. Whatever. It's free. You'll need an editor. One comes with it. There are other free editors such as PyCharm. For JavaScript, you'll want to use a different text editor. You can use idle, but it's nice to use TextPad for HTML and JavaScript, and I'll show you why. If I run TextPad and I type in an HTML document, blah, 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 I can click on that little thing, view it in web browser, and it instantly loads it up. And yeah, you can work around that, or you can find another editor that does that. But since all these machines have TextPad and they all work that way, where we can type in something and click the globe icon, it's a good thing, good way to go. Yeah, I didn't bother typing in anything good here at all. Okay. So email, you are all given a raider.rose.edu email address. I'm trusting that everybody in here is already familiar with using email, that you all know how to log into D2L, that you all know your campus, password and stuff like that. But if you have any problems, you can scroll down to the last page of this document. You can call whoever you need to call, because I can't do anything more cool than just tell you your student ID. Important dates. We'll have a midterm around the end of February. Happy Valentine's Day. No, I guess it's past that. Is today a leap year? This year a leap year? No, it's not. Anyways, then the most important date of all, spring break. I'm going to try not to load you up with homework over spring break. I like people to actually have a break. So essentially we're going to have 2 exams, and then we're going to have a 3rd exam. The 3rd exam is not the super duper evil exam to in the darkness bind them and whatever. It's just a 3rd exam. We're going to copy go over a unit of stuff, go over another unit of stuff, and go over another unit of stuff. But it's just like you're learning to speak French or whatever, they do build upon each other. I'm not going to specifically make it comprehensive, but it is going to involve stuff that you learned in previous exams. Grading scale is boring and ordinary. 90%'s an A, 80%'s a B, 70%'s a C, and so on. Had a comment to make about that. Oh yeah. I want everybody to make a good grade. I'm not one of those profs who says, okay, more people need to make a C than anything else, and I want 20% of you to fail and 20% to make it. I don't do that. I don't curve it like that. If 3/4 of you make A's, I'm totally happy with that. Long as I can, demonstrate. If anybody ever asks me, hey, why did more than half your class make A's? I'll say, well, take a look at their homework, take a look at their exams. They're good students. They know all the material. They got the grade they deserved. And I've never been challenged on it. So grades are broken down as follows. Programs that you do at home. That's the stuff that you do from the book that you're going to buy. I post the assignments, and you follow along, you do them at home. Then there are in-class assignments, which is if I'm typing code up here, I'd like it if you went ahead and you typed along with me and you got the code working on your station as well as mine. You learn more that way, because if I'm typing stuff in up here and you're not following along, you're going to start spacing out because it's boring. So if everybody gets a hands-on experience of going along together, that'll be great. So those are the in-class assignments, which I really should call tutorials, but it is another form of assignment. And then there are the quizzes and the exams. Every chapter in the text needs a quiz. Sometimes the quizzes cover 2 chapters if they're short chapters or whatever. And then the exams, the quizzes are just, like 20 questions, multiple choice, maybe a couple fill in the blanks kind of things. You don't take them in this room. It's open access. You don't have to go anywhere special in order to take them. They're just on your computer. You have, a week or 2 to do them. And then after all of them have been graded, you can take them again a second time. On chapter 3, if you only got a 75% and you want to boost your grade up, you just take it again. Why do I do that? Because I want you to learn the material. I don't consider the quizzes to be a test. The quizzes are a study tool, right? I don't hand out sample exams, but I give you quizzes and you can take them, multiple times till you get a perfect grade. And once you are, are fully charged up by having to take the quizzes, then you're going to ace the exams as well. The exams do need to be taken as a remote exam, not a remote exam. Since we're only meeting once a week here, we're going to save our time by not giving the exams during a class period, right? Because that knocks out 2 class periods if we do it that way. So we don't want to do it that way. That's why you're going to have to take them at the Learning Resource Center. And usually I offer that if a student really wants to, they can come into another class that I teach. And I'll post the dates, and the places that I teach. So if you decide you don't want to go to the LRC, you can do that. The 3rd, more expensive option is if you didn't want to go to the LRC, you can go through a service called ProctorView. You have to have a webcam, and they watch you take the exam. Yeah, you can do that. When this class is taught as an online class, and we have people taking the class from Florida or, or Norman or whatever, that's how they take it. Submitting homework, you will use the D2L assignments link. They changed the name of it from Dropbox to assignments, just to confuse us. There's no nothing showing there probably. Maybe 2 of them are showing. Yeah, okay. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, all Java, no, we're not learning Java. Python project should be compressed and zipped unless a project contains only one Python.
Well, the sentence before is talking about Python, and then this one's...
Yeah, we're not learning Java, so everywhere.
Oh, okay.
I just need to do a search and replace on Java. We are learning JavaScript. The same thing applies, though. You know, when you write a Java program, it's typically in one script, but as you write more complex Java programs, you can wind up with several scripts. And if that's the case, go ahead and zip them all up before you upload them. By the way, if you're using a Mac, not sure how many of y'all are Mac users, but if you've never run across this before, I'm going to give you a warning. You know how you can create files on a Mac without file extensions? Can't upload those to D2L. D2L rejects them, and I always get a call saying D2L won't let me upload my assignment, and I have to say, give it a file extension, then it goes. Grading policy. If your assignment doesn't run, and what I mean is if it has syntax errors, you know, it's not tabbed correctly. I mean, it's always annoying that Python requires, you know, precise placement of tabs, but it does. Or, you know, you put the quotes in the parentheses in the wrong place. You'll know if it has a syntax error or not. It'll just not run, or it'll run and then it'll blow up. You know, so like if I have this, don't type along with this one. Y'all know what syntax errors are. I shouldn't even be wasting our time demonstrating it, but I'm gonna. So, like, you know, A is equal to input, hello there, you know, like that. That's a syntax error, right? It's not gonna run. This editor doesn't flag it as a syntax error. It doesn't use you know, it gives you some hints, but, you know, by the colors or whatever. Some editors, you know, will highlight it right off the bat. But in this one, I'm going to go ahead and make a directory off my desktop where I save stuff. I recommend you do the same. Do not save your scripts within the Python subdirectories, or else you're going to get to the point where it no longer works. You'll break Python by doing that eventually. All right, so, okay. So here's my program. It's not going to work. Boom. Unexpected EOF while parsing. You're not going to get a grade if you hand in something like that. Now, if I look at the code and it's clear that you wrote, you know, 5,000 lines of code and you knew what you were doing, and there was just one extra quote, and I'm going to try removing that quote, and if the rest of it runs, okay. But especially in the lower level courses, I get people who just think that if they type in something and they upload it, I'll give them partial credit. But no, you have to get your program running. Even if it doesn't work right, you have to get it running before you get any credit on it. If that happens, if you turn in something that does not give you full credit, you can revise your program and submit it again. So it's not your final answer. You don't make a good grade on your program, you only make a 70 on it because it doesn't do everything it was supposed to do. Or you don't get any credit for it at all because it had, you know, was riddled with syntax errors. I will put in your feedback, you know, what needs to be fixed, and then you can turn around and, you know, revise it and submit it again. And it's not like you have to do that by the original due date. You know, you upload it, you get it done on the original due date. I look at it, I decide, you know, it was only worth 80%. I'll put in your feedback. I'll always put in your feedback why you didn't get 100 on it. If you did get 100 on it, I'm just going to put great or good work or something like that. But if you didn't make 100 on it, there will be a reason, and I'll put an offer, you know, please revise and resubmit for more credit. Right? That's how it works in the real world. You write a program, the customer doesn't like it, you go and revise it. You know, you write an Xbox program, you publish updates, you know, whatever. That's the way the real world works. That's the way we're going to do it in here. So partial credit may be awarded for assignments that run but do not meet full criteria. You know, if I ask you to write a program that's going to, you know, save data to a file and then read data from that file, and it only saves it to the file, it doesn't read it, well, you did half the assignment, you're going to get credit. If you only receive partial credit, you may revise and resubmit it. Programming assignments are generally due 1 week from the day they are assigned. You shouldn't even have to ask, but sometimes I leave the due date off by accident. If that's the case, please, you know, text me to let me know that I did, and I'll probably extend the due date, you know, because I don't want somebody going, oh, there's no due date there. Anyways, let's cooperate on that kind of stuff. Generally, they're due a week from the day they are assigned. On the other hand, if something weird happens, or if it's spring break or whatever, I'm not going to make stuff due over spring break. You have to complete at least 50% of the programming assignments to pass the class. Even if you ace the exams, you know, you may think that you could ace the exams and do some of the in-class stuff, and if you make a 70, you know, hey, you made your No, you actually have to do the programs as well, at least half of them. But I know you all want to do that. If you want an incomplete, you better be passing the class by the time you ask for it. You can't fail the course and then ask for an incomplete on it. That's not my policy, it's a division-wide policy. Late homework. Take home homework will be accepted up to 7 days. If it's a week late, you get 10% off. 2 weeks, 20%. 3 weeks, 30%. 4 weeks, 40% off. But if it's more than a month late, I'm not going to give you credit for it. I want everybody to keep up. And yeah, a month late is pretty long, but I have people wait and try to turn stuff in 2 months late or whatever. Kind of blows my mind, but whatever. On the other hand, if you're stuck in a situation because your work requirements have changed, or you had to go on TDY, or your kid's in the hospital, wife's pregnant, whatever. If you're in a serious situation where you're falling behind, talk to me about it, and I may waive late penalties, which is what this thing. Penalties for late assignments might be waived if the lateness of the assignment is discussed with the professor, preferably before the due date. I don't like to hear 2 months later you go, oh, well, work was really hard, so I didn't get the work done. Can I turn it in now? No, be talking to me about it. Communication is key. Attendance. I don't count off if you don't attend. On the other hand, the students who do attend often tend to do better in the courses, even though I record the lectures, so that if you miss a day, if you miss a lot of days, it's not going to be good for you. The reason for that is what typically happens is you miss a day, you watch the video, and you go, hey, this is cool. I could just stay home. And so you start staying home, and then you stop doing the videos. Seen it happen time and time and time. Some people have the discipline to do that, and the class has been, every other semester it's offered as a online class where you have to do it that way. But you ought to come to class, you'll do better. You can ask questions, it's a more interactive experience. Attendance in AW. Well, you're already here, but just so that you know, you probably have already heard this. If you don't show up within the first 2 weeks, if you don't participate in a class within the first 2 weeks, you're dropped from the class, and AW is recorded on your transcript, and you're legally obligated to give back any funds that anybody gave you, any grants or whatever, that they gave you in order to pay for the class. And that's to prevent, back in the old days, people get a grant, they'd go to one school, but they wouldn't attend, and then they'd, somehow manage to get another grant to go to a different school. You could, float around from school to school, not attending any courses, but, making some money, at least for a couple years that way. You can't do that anymore. Student expectations, what I expect of you. Access to D2L and Python development tools. If you can't do Python on your home computer, find a place where you can, or come to the business lab at 206. Please check D2L regularly. That's where I post everything. I believe that nowadays every time an announcement gets posted in D2L, you get an email about it. Attend class, watch videos for the missing lectures. Read the texts. Keep up with the schedule and the due dates. Complete the quizzes and the assignments on time. Communicate with the professor about problems in the class, and ask for help when needed. If you do all that stuff, you're going to ace the course. I really am highly invested in making sure that y'all do well in the class. I'll stay late. I'll come in on Fridays when I'm not, when I don't have office hours, whatever. I'll text and type and whatever. All right, so phones, tablets, laptops, etc. will be silent during class. I know that everybody lives on their phone anymore. But don't be using your phone to check, updates or Snapchat or something like that. But if you have a situation where you're expecting an important call, your child's sick or something like that, no problem. But if you have to take a call, go outside and take it. No game playing, no exceptions. You shouldn't have to say that kind of thing, but sometimes people do like playing League of Legends or whatever more than they like paying attention in class. If you're playing a game on your computer, that game's way more interesting to the people behind you than what I'm saying. So, don't do that. Also, don't sit in the back of the room with your portable PlayStations or your Nintendo Switches or whatever, playing games. That's really bad form. And the only reason I say that is because I actually had people who would we're playing, Street Fighter or whatever, networked with each other, and I had to go back there and say, come on, guys, stop that. And it embarrassed me. I don't know if it embarrassed them, but I didn't like it. If I modify the syllabus, I will post a notice of it. Then at that point, I'll probably discuss it in class as well. I'm not going to sneak changes in. And then at that point, it's your responsibility to understand the changes. Homework will be graded within a week of submission. Email queries sent to me. Hopefully I'll get them back to you within 24 hours. Over the weekend, it might be longer. Communication by text messages usually gets responses much more quickly. If you send me an important email and you don't seem to be getting an answer back fast enough, go ahead and text me and say, yo, check your email, bro. I'll do it. I can't write your programs for you, but I'll look at what you've written and make suggestions or further explanations. Office hours are offered. Unfortunately, my office hours are daytime because when you teach all night, you can't offer evening office hours. What may you expect of me? Well, I should provide clear instructions for assignments. If the instructions are not clear, I've made a mistake. If by not writing them well, if you don't understand it, it probably means that other people don't understand it. Ask for clarification, and if I go, yeah, you're right, that is just totally messed up, then I'll post an update. That way everybody gets the help. Answer questions. I should answer questions regarding the assignments, whether you pose them in person, email, phone, or text. Yeah, pick a seat that's not blocked by the pillar, and you'll be good. Grade assignments. Yep, that's my responsibility. Give feedback for work that needs to be corrected. I will certainly do that. I will always give you a week's notice of assignments. I'll never say, okay, this is due on Thursday or something ridiculous like that. Give you 2 weeks notice of exams. If we have to change the date of the exam, I would certainly let you know well in advance, just in case you're planning on going to Costa Rica or something like that. Post all assignments, notices, PowerPoints, and reading assignments on D2L. All due dates will be shown clearly in D2L, so there's no real reason to ask when the due date is. On the other hand, if I upload something and I forget to put a due date on it, let me know. I'll put it there and I'll make it, a week from when you reminded me of it, not, oh, by the way, guys, this was due tomorrow. Sorry I didn't put a due date on it. Academic integrity. Okay, here. We'll just shorten this. Don't cheat. There, we're done. Nah, we got to talk about it a little bit more. Unfortunately, always have people mess up during the semester. How do you cheat in a programming class? Typically what happens is 2 people work together on a program. Or more often, I go, man, I can't even do this. And so I send a message to you saying, hey, can I look at your program? I'm really stuck on one part of it. Denise sends it back to me, or lets me see her program. I go, great, and I upload her program. Some people don't even take the time to change the name up at the top. In that case, you're going to get an F on it just for being lazy. But anyways, unfortunately, I have to count both of y'all as, complicit in that. You can't do each other's homework. You can't ask your genius kid or wife or husband to do it for you, or your coworker or whatever. If you have questions on it, you need to ask me. That doesn't mean you can't Google, but I will talk more about that in just a minute. Presenting work completed for one course as original work for another, so don't find somebody who took my course previously and find her, stuff and upload it. The exams are going to be harder to cheat on now that they're going to be given at the LRC. What I've had people do in the past is, since they were open book, open PowerPoint, people pop open Gmail and start trying to send people messages to each other. I don't really want to have to walk around making sure that nobody's doing that. But that's not going to be such an issue this class. If you do cheat, you'll get a 0 on the assignment, an F on the assignment, and that's the least of your problems because it will also be reported to the division dean, and it will also be sent down to the, here we go. Consequences. If the professor determines that you did not do your own work, the least that will happen is you'll get an F. The division dean will find out, the director of student conduct will find out, and the reason why, Man, that seems pretty harsh. All I did is copy one program. What happens, or what has happened in the past, is you get a student who does it in one class, and then the prof wants to be the good guy, right? And say, well, okay, first offense. No, first offenses don't work anymore, because typically what happens is that student goes to another class and does the same thing. And then they go to another class and they do the same thing, and all their teachers are letting it slide. And it's not fair for you guys who work really hard to do your own work. So they all get reported to the director of student conduct, and if it happens more than once, then really bad things happen, like being expelled from the school. Free personal counseling. I've had people, come in from the military with PTSD, or, you have losses in your family for whatever reason. Trauma, grief, substance use, anything you need help with. You don't have to pay $100 an hour to go talk to somebody. Instead, you go on campus, Call them up, ask them for help. They can give you the resources, or they can direct you to other resources. Strongly encourage people who are having trouble to do that. Counseling is not just for people who are cuckoo. There are all sorts of reasons people need support. So, for student needs such as counseling, career services, and advisement, you can just go to the Student Support Service. I listed this one separately because it's awfully important. You can go there and take a look at what they have. If you have any, used to be called the Office of Disabilities. I think we're stepping away from the term disabilities, but if you have needs that are making it difficult for you to follow along in class, what kind of things? Well, I've had students who could only type with one hand, or they had, tardive dyskinesia where their hands were shaking, made it very difficult for them. Or, reading disability where, made it hard for them to read as quickly. If you need help, you'll get it. Go and talk to these folks. Talk to me about it too, but they'll help you fill out, requests to make of your instructor, and your instructor is obliged to follow them. So if you need extra time, to get assignments done, that's fine. If you need somebody to take the exam with you in order to, explain it, in order to read the questions, I'll do that. I've done it before. If you need to videotape, the lectures, because it'll work, whatever you need. So just go to Student Access Services. They'll help you out. And then I'll get a form, that says, you better help your students out. The Student Success Center. I've never actually visited it. There's a web page about it. Student Success Center, where you can learn study skills assistance, connect with campus support, assessment of student learning styles, provide academic advisement support. Then there are workshops you can go to. Want to learn how to do resumes and interviews, get organized, stuff like that. Looks like good stuff. Electronic communication. Email. Email's our ticket. I like texting, but I can't send you text messages from D2L, So if I'm grading something and it looks really strange and I want you to, revise it, I may send you an email about it as well as just leave the feedback, or if I need to blast an email out to everybody, D2L is hooked up to everybody's email addresses, so I expect that you all know how to access your email, that you've all configured your portable devices or whatever to open your rader.rose.edu. The bookstore. Student handbook. Information about withdrawal, incomplete grades, how to audit. What always happens is if somebody says that they want to change it to an audit, then they never show up again. I don't know how that is auditing, but whatever. So, login assistance. I know that all of y'all know how to log in, but if you ever need help, you can call the IT help desk. If you don't remember the phone number for the IT help desk, just call the main Rose number and ask to go to the IT help desk. And then they'll work you out so that you can, reset your password or whatever you need to do. Email assistance the same way. If you can't get onto your email, you can call the IT help desk. D2L, there's a D2L help desk. It's not a phone number though, but you call them, you leave a message there, and then they will call you back. Did I just say call? You visit the site, you fill in some stuff, here's my name, here's my email, and then down here in message you go, I hate D2L.
It broke.
No, we're not going to say I hate D2L. But if you have a problem, list your problem, put your phone number on there, and say, please contact me by phone, and it'll get back to you really fast. Alrighty. Seems like I missed something. Someone's nagging at me. Yeah, we did the programming homework. There's also a project that I'm going to toss your way about halfway through the semester that's work 2 programs, just to give y'all something to, extra to work on, something more interesting than, writing a loop or writing to a file or something like that. I have one in mind. I'm going to come up with a couple of more, and then you can come up with your own ideas if you want for that project. Alrighty, are there any questions so far? Please feel free to ask questions. I like people to ask questions. About time to take roll. Going to repeat that real quickly for the benefit of the video. I'm going to go to my start, type in idle or however you find programs on yours. I'm not going to type my program into the shell. What's the shell for? Well, you can do stuff in the shell. A is equal to 3. B is equal to A times 6. And then you can just type in B and it shows you what B is. That kind of stuff. But we always do file new. A is equal to 15. B is equal to 4. I need to make that font a little bit larger. That may be too large. We'll find out. Now that looks about right. When you save a Python script, do not save it in the bowels of the Python subdirectories. You will mess Python up eventually. You'll get it to the point where it won't run. Won't happen to everybody. But it's not going to happen to anybody in this class. So you see how whenever you do save as, it goes into program files 86 or wherever Python got installed, and you see DLL and doc and stuff like that. People want to save documents in here. Don't do that. Instead, create a folder and save your stuff into that. And when I say create a folder, I mean on the desktop or your flash drive or something. All right, let's give ourselves a real creative name like January 23. Go ahead and give it an extension, even your Mac users, because like I said, if you try to upload something that doesn't have an extension on the Mac, D2L rejects it. Okay, so I did save as. I have a program here. Does it do anything interesting? No, it just assigns 2 variables. A variable, you don't have to type this, is a named place in memory that can contain a value. A variable has 3 components: names, a type, and then a value. Now, in some languages, you have to specify the type. If you've taken a C class or a Java class or whatever, you're used to doing stuff like that. I need X and it's an integer, and I need Y and it's a string. In a scripting language like Python or JavaScript, you don't predefine your variables like that. You don't give them types. The variables are given a type that is based on the type of data you store in it. And if you want to, you can store something completely different. In Java or C, if you did that and then you decided to try to store something, don't type this stuff. Try to store something else in like that. You said, I want an integer, and oh, by the way, I'm going to stick a word in it. That would not work. That would be an error in a Java or C++ or any strictly typed language. But in a scripting language, you can get around that. You could assign, a value into that. You wouldn't put that word int there. You can then store something else in it. Okay, so we have 2 variables here. Now let's make some other variables. C is equal to A divided by 15. D is equal to A. Why did I say divided by 15? C is A divided by B. D is A slash B. And E is equal to A % B. I know that some of y'all know the difference between them. What's the difference between doing the slash and the slash slash?
One denotes the special character.
Very good guess, except that's backslash.
Okay.
Slash slash means floor division. This means division. Can I type? Apparently not. You know what, I'm going to make these different. Instead of 15 and 4, I'm changing A to 3 and B to 2 just because my brain works better like that. So I went up and I revised those. Anyways, what's A divided by B? 1.5. Slash slash means floor division. What is floor division? Rounds it down to the next whole integer. So instead of being 1.5, it's 1. You guys who've taken a Java or a C++ course before know that if you divide an integer by an integer, it rounds down. This language doesn't do that, but if you put slash slash, it does. And then this is modulus. This means the remainder. If you did floor division, what would the remainder be? Well, if you take 3 and divide it by 2, the answer is 1, with a remainder of 1. Other examples. 7 modulus 4. How many times does 4 go into 7? 1 time with a remainder of 3. So that would be equal to 3, right? That's what modulus means. Let's just put parentheses remainder. We're getting into the close to the end of the class, aren't we? Why don't we go ahead and stop here? You have your marching orders in terms of the homework. I'm going to kind of see how fast we can go on this stuff, but I don't want to push us all to the point where, you know, we're immediately falling behind. So let's stop here. Let's make a Dropbox for you to upload our in-class assignment. I never ran it though. I never even printed anything out. Tell you what, let's add a print statement. Print A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D, comma, E. And then let's add an input statement at the very end that says press enter to quit. Do you have to do that? No, but if you try to run it through the Windows interface by double clicking on the icon, you're not going to get to see the output. It closes the window too fast. But if you put that input statement there, it stops it. And by the way, if I type too fast, since we're at the end of the class, I'm not doing my traditional thing of pausing and doing Walkabout to make sure that everybody is caught up. Alrighty. So, is this a great program? No, because it doesn't tell us what these numbers are. But, you know, A was in fact 3, B was in fact 2, C was in fact 1.5. Yeah, it behaved the way we expected, and it says press enter to quit. So people sometimes get frustrated that they can't then just rerun the program, you know, by typing stuff in there. No, you have to come back over here and run it again. Why did I put that input? Let me give you a quickie demonstration. Keep the code on the screen, but if I go into and I run it by double clicking on it, if I didn't have that input, it would just flash and we wouldn't see it. Let me prove that to you. Boop. Yeah, that's not informative, right? So if you want people to be able to run your program from the folder rather than from inside idle or PyCharm or whatever, just go ahead and put that at the end. Give a better name to that at a later point because it's supposed to go in its own folder, but as for now, that will work. Yeah, there we go. And remember, if you miss a day, I don't really count off late for the in-class stuff. Just watch the video, type it in, and upload it. All right, if you go back to assignments, refresh your assignments page, you should see, I'll move it to the top after this, but scroll down, you'll see in-class tutorials. Just submit your document there. Hope you all know how to do that. If you don't, you go into it, you click Add File, you pick your file, My Computer, and you can drag and drop, or you can go and choose it, whatever, you know. Find the file, upload it. Then you have to click Upload, Add, and Submit. It's like an email attachment. If you never click Send, they don't get it even though you've uploaded it. Once you get the message, file upload results, submission successful, you're golden. You're good. All right, guys, take advantage of my phone number. Call me or text me if you get stuck. I think we're done. Are there any questions? Nope. Alrighty. So I will see y'all next week. I love that idea of uploading a. They won't let you view it from a flash drive. They're not going to let you flick a flash drive in and upload stuff. But if it's in D2L, you'll be able to. So we'll need to see if we can arrange that.